people connect to a face much more than a logo. At the end of the day, it's going to be how much do you wow them.
Essentially, I have an opportunity to speak and host a game in a
Nice, man.
show that's happening.
In a what? Comedy show?
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, I'm going to be hosting a cannabis Q&A game. I'll make this fun as I can.
Okay.
I wanted to just pick your brain a little bit to think about how should I approach the audience in terms of giving my message, my one word, and how else I can potentially use the space to help promote my mission and my work, because I'm also going to be selling like cannabis items and different things at the event, so that like I can also there's also opportunities in there to raffle things and like give things away. So I'm just trying to think a bit more about how I should specifically do that.
What kind of game is it? Like trivia or?
It's a trivia type game.
Okay. So easy as you make the trivia questions related to the mission, the message, the theme in a fun way, right? How many people coming out?
Well, we're holding about 40 or about 40 people.
Okay.
At least, so I'm preparing for that.
Are you organizing the event?
So
Okay.
it's not necessarily, I'm more of an add-on at the moment than running the event by
Okay.
point of selling tickets.
So in general, the more you can collect any information, like if you can collect email addresses in advance and welcome them and say, hey, I'm looking forward to having you come here, or afterwards, hey, thank you so much for coming out. So speakers will often do that for when they're speaking at events. Here's your speaking fee, but if you give me the contact info for everybody who came out, I'll reduce my speaking fee, right? So you could do the same thing. That's not that many people, but still, if you have 40 people learn about what you're doing as part of the deal, I'd look at, can you have anything printed, even something small, just as a reminder of like who you are, and are you still going old school with your message and like from the 30s Prohibition era?
It's more about the cannabis activism than the specific play in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
A face is always easiest because people connect to a face much more than a logo. So like you're the guy and they want to follow you on your mission because your mission is also their mission, right? And then at the end of the day, it's going to be how much do you wow them? Like no matter how much you have their email or you collect their information or you gave something away, it's like when you're there, do they love you? Like your job is to be, when they walk away, like, who is this guy? I want to spend more time with him, right? So having your face and having an email or Instagram or however you want people to contact you.
Doing a raffle for, I haven't picked an item, I have many different items that could raffle, and then have just people write their email as part of that raffle.
Yeah, any way you can get their email address and then connect with them afterwards. It could be a raffle, or it could be I'm trying to create this. More about the mission, like what's next? Like if they care about this, here's what you're trying to do next. How can they help you? How can they be involved? How can they, right? Even at the end, so when Mandy was doing an interview with me, the last question is always, hey, how can we help? How can we serve? Like, thank you for all this knowledge. People want to connect with you. They want to help. Like, what's the next step?
So that they can have an idea to action themselves.
Yeah, but that their idea to action is connected to yours somehow, that your mission is their mission, that they see you as leading this movement and they want to be a part of it because they connect to what you're saying. So the most important thing is that you're showing up for that day, not just as a host that's ha 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 funny, but that they feel something connected to your mission in an entertaining way.
Is there any common mistakes you feel like people make in front of audiences?
Emotional commitment. You're too nervous. And so you don't actually deliver the message. You play it safe. And then you're just memorizing what you said and putting it out there, as opposed to actually feeling the thing that you're feeling. You're probably better at it than most because you do acting, and right? So you can know how to summon the emotion, right? But even for him with his podcast, emotion, if he plans for an hour writing out the perfect script and then he reads it, it's going to be boring as anything because he's just reading it. It's the emotion that's going to carry people. So making sure that you're actually feeling the message behind it when you're saying the message. That's what's going to pull people in.
And introducing myself the way you have your mini bio that you detailed in your book.
Well, like having somebody introduce you. Most introductions suck, right? Like reading a bio usually sucks. So I would either introduce yourself and what you're trying to do, because you'll be able to tell it in a really passionate way, or you have somebody introduce you, but it comes from the heart, right? Like if Mandy's going to introduce me for her show, I don't. Do we do an introduction? I think people already know me on your audience. Yeah. I have an official bio. I don't care if she reads the whole bio, right? Like, I don't want her to sit there, okay, Evan Carmichael is da 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 da. Like, it just kills the vibe of the whole thing. Nobody's paying attention, right? When somebody's sitting up there reading your whole page, nobody's listening. So there needs to be emotion. The problem is lack of emotional commitment. So I'd much rather have Mandy say, I'm here with Evan Carmichael, and I love him because of boom, 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 boom. And whether she talks about we're here in a dance studio, or he brought his dogs to the interview, or my YouTube channel, or the books, or whatever, I don't care, right? So if you're going to have somebody else introduce you, somebody who believes the same thing you believe, I can do a passionate introduction like, this guy is awesome. If not, if they're just going to read your paper, then you do it yourself.
So I'm a confidence coach and also a mindset coach, speaker, and so I have a series of events that I'm doing. So next Wednesday I have an event coming up, and it's all on why we need to trust, and really the 4 types of trust, and how to really come and really trust so we can really grow from it. Mm-hmm. And so my struggle right now is really finding people for it. So my challenge or question would be, so how would you recommend a seminar like that to find some people by next week? And what suggestions would you have?
It was by next week, Facebook advertising and partnerships. So I would talk to any organization that's putting on events and letting them know that you're doing it. Anybody who has a local community that has your audience. Is it entrepreneurs or just professionals, or
anyone who really will benefit from having a passionate goal and wants to achieve that, and wants to really who has the insecurities, but also has a passionate goal, and they really want to achieve that. It's very desired to achieve that, but they just need that confidence to help them.
So most organizations are aligned by types of people, right? So there's Enterprise Toronto. They're across the street here. They service new entrepreneurs. Does your message target new entrepreneurs? Yes. So you go and you talk to them and say, I have this event next week for new entrepreneurs on how to XYZ, right? There might be some women group, women leaders. Do they need this? Yes. But then you position your message for women leaders, right? So you look at organizations that have an audience and say, here's what I'm doing next week. Do you think it's a fit for your community? That's just knocking on doors, sending emails, making phone calls, DMing people, reaching out. Local, because they can promote it local. It's great that somebody in California loves you, but they're not showing up to your event probably next week, right? The second way is advertising. Facebook is the easiest way to do it, where you do community-based, interest-based. So again, you can do entrepreneurs, and you can do a message for entrepreneurs. Hey, if you're an entrepreneur, you want to learn how to boo, 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 I've got this event coming up next week at here where I'm talking about XYZ, right? The longer form way is content, right? Making YouTube content, making Instagram content so that you become a magnet for people to then find you. But if you make a YouTube video, you're not going to fill up a room next week for your event here in Toronto, right? So partnerships and Facebook advertising, the easiest two.
If you have a podcast or interview show and want me to be a guest on it, I have 2 options for you. There's a link right there next to me. Go click it, and I look forward to being a guest on your show.